Balancing Act, a podcast devoted to helping families navigate memory loss. I'm Kelly Burtonshaw. For 20 years, I've worked as a licensed speech-language pathologist and a certified dementia care specialist. And I've seen firsthand that when a loved one is diagnosed with memory loss, everyone's lives change. Family members have to juggle their loved ones' now increasing need for care, while also trying to manage their own lives, families, and careers. It truly becomes a balancing act. So I created this podcast with the goal of helping you and your family navigate these challenges head on. Together, we'll find the answers, because no one should walk this journey alone. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. I think it's pretty fair to say that we all know how important it is to maintain our connection with friends, family, and within our communities. We are all, by nature, social critters. And that regular social contact keeps us rooted in the here and now and in who we are. Many studies have shown that prioritizing our relationships goes a long way to lowering stress levels and boosting self-esteem, both of which make for better eating, exercise, and sleep habits. The good news is the same is true for a loved one living with memory loss. And there's an added bonus for your loved one. By maintaining important social relationships, it may actually help slow their cognitive decline. But at the same time, these relationships can become more difficult to manage as the symptoms of your loved one's dementia become more evident. So today, we're going to talk about those symptoms and ways to adapt social activities and expectations to keep your loved one engaged with others for as long and as successfully as possible. Let's first talk about what you and others are observing when you see your loved one interacting with friends. Is your loved one eager to participate? Do they seem to struggle? Are they seeing fewer people doing fewer activities? With dementia, there comes a gradual but significant impact on your loved one's personality and socialization skills. Social situations become more difficult for them to navigate because of the progressive changes in their communication and their thinking abilities. Now, in the early stages, your loved one may seem to be doing pretty well, still doing things like playing bridge with the girls or golfing with the guys. But gradually, it seems they aren't participating in the conversations or during the activity as much as they used to. They may seem to be getting even a little frustrated during these interactions. And after the activity, they might be having more difficulty recounting the details about the event. So along with your observations, go to the source. Ask your loved one about their activities and how they're going. Often, a pattern will emerge. Are they struggling with or avoiding activities that require spontaneous conversation and responses? Are the activities in loud places with a lot of people or new people? Complaints such as these are often masked confessions about which of their abilities have been impacted by the changes to their brain. Here's an idea one of my family members shared. She told me that she and her mom made a list of her mom's usual social activities. They went through each one to determine which one was more difficult for her. Her mom decided that her book club was becoming just a little too much because she couldn't always remember what people said, and she occasionally had trouble finding words to respond, which for her was deeply embarrassing. She decided, though, that she would keep playing bridge with a small group of friends because she knew the language needed for that particular game like the back of her hand. She also chose to continue to go to water exercise with another set of friends because there wasn't a lot to remember or a lot of talking. Another way to determine the abilities your loved one is struggling with is to find out which activities they want to keep. Now, the overall goal of all this detective work is to find the people and activities that will help prevent your loved one from beginning to isolate themselves. As your loved one's dementia progresses, you will start to see more personality and mood changes. And because of their worsening communication abilities, they will start repeating themselves, and they may struggle even to complete a sentence. Their mental processing is further slowed, and they can't keep up with everything going on around them. They also can misread social cues and then react in inappropriate ways. They can be easily overwhelmed, become emotional, paranoid, and sometimes even delusional. This is when we turn to adapting the activities themselves. Think about arranging social activities around what your loved one can and cannot do. Consider things that can trigger your loved one's confusion and agitation, like a noisy or busy environment. And it's best to stick with people who are well known to your loved one. Having to meet new people can be extremely difficult when you have communication and memory problems. And the fewer people present at these activities is probably for the better. The shorter the duration of the activity may also be beneficial. Also, here's something people don't always think about. Consider the time of day. Are they in a good mood at this time of day? Are they well rested? Persons with Alzheimer's and other dementias can have increased agitation and anxiety in the later afternoon or early evening. You may have heard of this called sundowning, so not a good time to make plans. And to reduce demand on their diminishing communication, processing, and memory abilities, build the get-together around a favorite activity. It gives your loved one a sense of security and confidence by doing something familiar. And they will also have a much better idea of what to say and do. Things such as doing puzzles, taking a walk, cooking together, going through photo albums with their family, even watching their favorite shows or a sporting event, whatever is like second nature to them. I've included more examples of what to expect as dementia progresses and ways to make activities successful across those stages in today's show notes. Another key element to preparing social activities with your loved one is to prepare others for what to expect. Giving friends and family a heads up makes the situation a lot less stressful for all concerned. Reach out to others beforehand and let them know what's going on with your loved one. Talk about both your loved one's limitations and their strengths, and share what you've found to be the best ways to communicate with your loved one. Point them to resources that you have found helpful. Point them to this podcast. Reassure them that as your loved one's dementia progresses, you will keep them up to date. And remind them how much it means to your loved one to maintain a connection with them. It's important to keep in mind, though, that some people may not be able to handle the changes your loved one is going through. It may make them uncomfortable to come face to face with Alzheimer's or dementia, or it may be that it's just too sad for them to gradually lose the relationship as it was. Whatever the reason, make space for their feelings. You can maintain the connection in other non-in-person ways that are more comfortable for everyone concerned. There is also another excellent social activity to consider, one that is specifically designed for those with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Gatherings known as dementia or memory cafes. These are social gatherings for people with memory loss and their loved ones to connect, share information, and build support networks. They are a safe, welcoming environment where people can come together for activities without fear of embarrassment or being misunderstood. These memory cafes may meet once or twice a month for a couple of hours, and they can be held in many different community venues, and they're usually free to attend. Some activities that might take place at some of these cafes include games, educational presentations, music, crafts, exercises, artistic performances, and a lot more. To find a memory cafe in your area, search Memory Cafe Directory online. As we come to the end of this episode, let's talk about your relationship and activities with your loved one. As their spouse, child, or friend, you may be finding yourself more often in the role of caregiver and calendar keeper, responsibilities that you may never have actually even agreed to take on. You'll also likely find yourself simultaneously dealing with both your loved ones and your own difficult emotions. For both your sakes, it's essential that you take a step back from time to time. You may need to take some time off to recharge and regroup. Take some of that sick or vacation time you have built up and take care of you. And if you're worried about how you could possibly leave your loved one, give yourself permission to arrange for respite care. It's okay. There are many options available. You can enlist other family members or friends while you take a few days off. You can look to in-home care agencies, adult daycare centers, or facilities offering short-term stays for your loved one. Two great resources for finding respite care are local agencies like the Area Agency on Aging or the Arch National Respite Network. I've included links for these in the show notes. Finally, wherever you or your loved one are in this process, I hope you will carry this with you. No one is perfect at this. No one. You're doing the best you can. You're doing it from a place of love. And that is enough. I'm Kelly Burtonshaw, and it was my pleasure spending time with you today. Keep in touch.
Hi, I'm Peggy Wright, editor, producer of this podcast. Join Kelly each week as she talks about the issues facing families navigating a loved one's memory loss. If you like this episode, let us know by following A Balancing Act wherever you get your podcasts. Please take a moment to rate and review so that we can continue to provide relevant content. If you have questions or comments for Kelly, leave those too. Or we can even set up a virtual appointment if you would like to visit with her one-on-one. Links to all the ways you can reach out to A Balancing Act are in the show notes. We are here to help, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you for joining us today.